I'd love to thank all of you for showing up, making sacrifices to be here, despite whatever you're doing. I want to thank myself for coming here, leaving my food uncompleted. I appreciate myself. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen so you can see from there, and hopefully those who are online can also do the same. And just in case I forget, on Saturday, please remind me to show you where you can start applying for data entry jobs. All right. Welcome. So, sorry, let me disconnect first. How many of you have shared it, please? Your assessment. I've not seen it. Which email did you send? No, no. Send it to my email. Yeah, send it to my email. I've checked it. It's not here. That email. There are three. No, there are four software, four programs that if you wake me up at night, you ask me, something about them, I would be able to tell you without checking my notes. Top on the list is Microsoft Excel, followed by Power BI, since I'm a Power BI developer, followed by Tableau, followed by SQL Server. Now for Python programming, I would have to check my notes because it's not all the functions that we use, it's not all the codes that you get to use in Python all the time. But Microsoft Excel is like Microsoft and SQL Server. It's like going into a compound like this, right? A big compound. You need to pass through the gates, then find where you're going to, and just go right in there. And when you go in, you can see your office. You go straight into your office. But Python works a little bit more like that too. But some products demand that when you go through the gate, you have to create your own office. Like you need to use the code to create an office that was not in existence. Excel, you don't create anything out of the formulas or the functions. You are basically using them to to work on something that have already been created. Do you get the difference? Yes. But Python programming and other types of programming language, you need to use them to create something. Sometimes you also use them to manipulate what has already been created. That's why some people may be so good at creating, and others may be so good at manipulating what has been created already. Like for instance, if you want to create a robot that can communicate in your language, in your local dialect, you need to feed you need to teach the robot how to make that communication possible. Technically, you need to teach the machine. So you use certain machine learning algorithms, natural language processing. You need to keep training and training and training. Now, if you have ever used Google Translate and you want to talk to someone in another dialect, maybe you met someone who speaks Mandarin or Russian, or a Ruski or a Spanish person, and you want to speak in Spanish to that person, you can use Google Translate, right? And then if the person want to speak to you in your own dialect, maybe Igbo, Yoruba, or any of your languages, the person would also use Google Translate. Now, if you have ever noticed that there are some languages that the software may not be so good at giving you the exact description. I doubt if well, I've not tried it before. Probably I'll try it today and see if there is a Google Translate for Pidgin English, like Nigerian Pidgin English, so that well, I would love it to. I would love them to do something about Pidgin English, but it's also going to be. I mean, you need to spend so many hours and months to do that because the way people in the north speak Pidgin is different from the way people in the south speak Pidgin. And if you go to Cameroon, the way Cameroonians speak Pidgin is totally different from the way someone in East Africa speaks Pidgin. So be a lot of training, right? But English is pretty easy because um, English is the same everywhere, right? The only difference is the accents. I'm speaking English in an accent that everyone here understands. If someone from India is speaking English, I'll be shaking head. You guys will understand, but the accent is different. If an American speaks English, because depending on states, any the accent is pretty much different. The same thing with the UK. You have someone from Scotland is speaking English with a different accent. Someone from Middlesbrough is speaking English with a different accent. Just different places with their own accents. And they all laugh at each other when they speak this English, right? Scottish English, if you have ever listened to Scottish English, you would ask yourself whether it's the same English all of us are speaking. It's the same thing with Pidgin. If a northerner is speaking Pidgin to you, you are from maybe Edo State or Warri, you know that your Pidgin is in a book Pidgin. It's very sharp, right? So those are the things we are talking about these languages. So why I love Microsoft Excel is because it is very beginner friendly. Not just that it's beginner friendly, but it's also one language that you can use to study prints of other languages. It's easier if you start with Microsoft Excel, and it's far more difficult. But I don't know about I know a lot of it are geniuses, but I didn't start with Python. If I started with Python, I'll probably not be here teaching Excel. So I'm trying to share connect so that we can look at the screen. So I've seen some of the assessments you've sent. We are going to look at some of them, but let's start the class.
What the moral is not I do not escape from God.
Larissa, mute your mic. Alright, since not so. I'm hoping to be done with basic to intermediate Microsoft lecture. Hopefully, if we meet on Saturday, we'll do something else. Under data science, yeah. Okay. Do you guys go to Tech? Do you guys attend the virtual sessions? Okay, so try to attend it. Okay.
The one at 7 p.m.
Yes. Try to attend. Hmm? That's no work. So I'm gonna drop the contact of Mr. Prince in the group, right? So you can always reach out to him because he same way I'm starting with Microsoft Excel, right? That is the same way they are also starting with Python from scratch, right? So you have to join that session. And then on Saturday, if you can make it there on time for the physical session so that you can start practicing. There's no data science without Python programming. Data analysis, you can survive without Python programming depending on where you are working. But if you get a job with SQL Server and you don't know so much about Python, please make sure that while you are at the job, you are actually upskilling. You're actually upskilling because if you are working for any of the top tech companies, um, well, towards the end of this month or somewhere around March, I'll be doing a lot more of talking about how you can get jobs and internships and things like that. But this just slipped out because there are there are tech roles within tech companies and there are tech roles for non-tech companies. If you are finding it difficult to get tech roles in tech companies, then you are actually encouraged to get tech roles in non-tech companies. For instance, I started my journey tech roles in a non-tech company. That's why I got the job faster. Then I moved from there to actually working proper with two startups and a tech company. So you need to show working from a place that can accept you. For instance, Microsoft Excel, you could use that to help different social enterprises or non-profits or businesses to run their data entry programs. You could go, for instance, the American corner, you know, the data entry specialist would have the data of every book, right? So that when once you take out a book, an entry is missing and you can also track where it's going. Data scientists would, let's assume a book is something you can track. So data scientists will be able to track. Let's remember boats. When you order a ride from boats, right? You can track where the driver is. Abi, Abi, they don't scam the app now. You can still track the driver, right? Yeah, something like that. So imagine you borrow somebody your money or you borrow sugar or I better bring back my sugar and the person didn't bring it back. So you can see the miles your sugar has covered in a month. So you can see if the sugar ended up somewhere it's not supposed to end. Guy, wetin my sugar dey do for Kaduna? You say you want to use it, right? You can do something like that. So it's just some little things that technology can help us get. So we have already treated this. Now let's look at the summary function. I asked a question here. What do you think I did Who knows? What do you think I did there? So normally you have 40 plus 10 plus 10 plus 20 is how much?
No.
No? Who said 50, 60? Who said 60?
It's not.
If you say 60, hands up, go right for it again. 40 plus 10 is what? 50 plus 10 plus 20, 80. So why do I have 60 here? There's a question. What do you think I did there? Just look at it. Why do I have a summation that gives 60 instead of 80? Yes, I forgot. There are books for giving. Esther, I didn't bring Zobo today, yeah?
I think that's the text.
The text.
Converted it into a text.
The what?
Converted it into a text.
No,
Converted it into a text.
no, it doesn't.
Or it's correct error.
Number, it's not an error. If it's an error, then it will show 60 as 60. It will show it either this way or it will tell you name error, all those errors you guys have been seeing in Excel. I need you guys to think. Think.
I think some factors from this.
No, that is this is soft life. Why is the answer?
So I didn't apply the function.
I did.
Yeah.
So you saw from
You added row 6 and 9.
you saw from A7 to
So but that was in total.
No, that one. Okay, let's try one last question. Yeah.
I think you altered. You did not do the summation properly. The first one I did was 60. So when you alter the figure,
Uh-huh.
it will not change. At the result.
Okay. Thank you. You come back from school and then you've listed everything that they have asked you to bring from school. So that day I need uniform, I need shoes, I need bag, I need pen, the cost of all those things, right? Maybe your mother, and then you now say, you know what? Everything that is above 1,000, I need to pay. Have you heard something like that? And all these lists where your picking bring now, anything way past 1,000, I need to pay. So now the mother will now sit down and start doing another calculation. She's not removing anything from the list. She's only deducting the things that are less than, or taking away the things that are less than 1,000 and those that are more than 1,000. Now, when you go to the market, you already have it in mind that this is your budget. If you are a very disciplined person, though, you like me, if I go market, maybe 100K, I want to buy things. If you like, I don't know how to negotiate. I discovered that the best way to stop talking and talking. Oga, come now, come, run. You tell me maybe I budgeted 20,000 for that thing, and you told me it's 25. I won't say, please come and give me for 19K. I don't have time for that. I'll say, guy, I beg. My budget is 20,000. Anything wey you wan talk, go. I will tell you, remind you say my budget is 20,000, right? So I've done that and it has always worked for me, especially if they want to sell. But if they don't want to sell, then I can go home and work my budget because of the new prices. That's second scenario. Third scenario, you're working in a very big company and they want to lay off a good number of staff from that company. The managers they need to send out people, the unproductive staff, they need to, especially if it's a sales company, sales company. And as a data analyst, they now bring the data of sales that have been made in the company, managers, details that should help you. And then you are now told any manager that did not make $10,000 for the last quarter should be laid off. How are you going to work with that type of data? So I've given you three scenarios. Do you understand what just happened here? Now, what happened here is that instead of putting 80, I have decided to add certain values. Only. Instead of bringing money for the list, it's everything that kid brought from school, I've decided to add only the ones that I want. I'm not going to deal with this. Let's go create a fictional data set, right? Let's create a fictional data set. Give me something. Give me something. What are we creating?
Sales.
Sales, okay. Sales and what? Now don't pass this level now. Huh?
Sales. Description.
Sales.
The amount.
The month.
This thing should not be very difficult for you now. Shouldn't be difficult. Product and then sales. So what products? Let's have like 5.
So like toothpaste.
Toothpaste. All right, another one. What? Deodorant. Okay. Lipstick. Detergent. Detergent. One last one.
Bleach.
What?
Bleach.
Bleach. Okay. So sales, we could have random figures. Let's say 54, 67, 21, this and this. So as usual, what do you think is missing? What should we do? It's looking so naked. Currency, all right. Which currency are we looking at? Dollars. When I get them. Then what else? We had indeed what? All right. Okay. Again, we can always do this with tables, but for the sake of our, work. So now, let's say I have a list of all of this, and I'm only interested in adding 3 out of all of this. Let's say the lowest figures, right? The lowest we have lipstick, toothpaste, and what? And deodorant. So how do we add this? Normally, if we want to add everything, we simply, how do we add? Yeah, just the sigma sign, and that's it. So this is it, right? 307, that's the answer. 307, that's the answer. But if we want to add something with a conditional, that thing we call it the sum if function. Very, very important. The sum if function. So how does that work? I'm going to remove this. So we're going to say equals to, right? Sum if. Can you read what's there? So my criteria here is that I want to see only the things that are greater than 60. I want to add only the things that are greater than 60. Do you understand?
Yes.
So we have bracket open. So it's asking for the range. You can see, like I said, Excel is very beginner friendly. In Python, you may not have these descriptions. They expect that as Baba way you be, you just start. It says the range. So this is the range. We already talked about it, right? Comma, baby. Comma. Then criteria. What's our criteria? What? Above what? 60. And when you are done, comma, and then your sum range to close the bracket. Right. Excuse me. Check the shelf. Check the shelf. Mm-hmm. And glass. All right, sorry about that. So we have equals to sum if bracket open our range. So you have to. Okay, let me try something first. So let's assume this is our range, right? Then comma. Our criteria is what? So which of these signs is greater than?
The right one.
Is greater than, okay. So we have greater than 60, right? And after that we have comma. Or since we don't have the sum range, bracket close. Now this is not going to work. I'm going to tell you why. If I hit enter, you would see what it says what is a problem with this formula. Okay? I've never really cared to read to the end. But just know it's going to show error. Now, if you look at the formula, let me cancel this. Or rather, let me do something. All right. Now, this one works. Did you see what I did?
No.
I'm going to do it again. For this time around, remember our answer initially was what? Adding everything. Our answer initially was what? 307. So if you want to add everything that is greater than 60, we are indirectly saying we want to add this equals to sum, right? We want to add 67. What else is greater than 60? 87, right? Okay. 87, and then what? 78. And then, so this is it. But no one is going to have that time to be choosing the things that are greater than. What if you have a long list of rows? Are you going to trust your eye to count all the things that are greater than a particular value? Right? So this is the answer we want to arrive at. But for us to get to that answer, instead of sum, we use what is called what? Sum if. We already know what the formula is. Now, if you look at this, normally if you look at the formula for sum, there was nothing like bracket open, bracket close. Sorry, there was nothing like greater than, less than, and everything you see was either the number and then the comma and then the bracket close, right? That is standard. But should in case you insert anything that is not part of these underlying formulas, Excel is going to read because it is not programmed into the software. to understand what you mean when you insert greater than and less than. Excel is going to return the value as being erroneous. So your best shot to telling Excel, look, I beg, I know say this one no dey your house, but just collect. Just use this one and manage, and then give me the answer. Your best shot is to use double quotes. Do you get the point?
Yes.
To use double quotes. You saw that I had inserted greater than 60 and then close the bracket, and it says this formula is erroneous. It means that it is not programmed. This sum if is not programmed to understand what you mean when you insert greater than and less than. But when once you insert the range, you understand. You put a comma. You insert the criteria, you understand. You put a comma. Anything outside of what this code is telling you is going to return error. Think about it this way. When you mistake your password, you want to insert your password in your phone, and you mistakenly put a wrong number, it's going to tell you incorrect password. Because when you were inserting the password initially, what you were doing was you were training that system to accept those values to be your password. So it's going to ask you the first time, it's going to now ask you to confirm if this is what you want. When once you now click on OK, it's going to put those codes together. Anytime you insert numbers that are not part of the original codes, it's going to return what? Error. I mean, now just the press, the thing just the carry now go. Right? So now that you are listening to me, pay attention to why you have errors in your code and why it's not working. You go to your bank, you want to open, some of the banks do that, digital banks. You open your bank app, you want to transfer money. There's money, but you are not seeing it. Right? Don't calm down. That is not the time for you to go to your church and do fasting and start. Hey, my enemies, they have come, they have come. It could be because somebody has mistakenly inserted the wrong code somewhere, and it has affected not just your app, but everyone using that app, and most especially using that particular function where the code had issues. That's why you see software developers. Um, some of my friends who are some of my friends who are bankers don't like the software guys who are working in the bank, right? They don't really like working full time because in their mind these guys cannot pay them. Because why would you be saying that your bank is making millions and billions of dollars in revenue? At the end of the day, the guys that are keeping those things running, you are paying them 700K in a month. When you know that one company somewhere is waiting to pay them $2,000, $3,000 a month. And I'm not talking about entry-level software developers, those who know what they are doing. Right? Any simple, any, well, it's not simple, but a single mistake in the financial sector, you just wake up. I think it was Pastor who said it sometime that his account was wiped. A single mistake like this, whether it's code or someone is hacking you, your life is in shambles. As you dey like this, there are some things you don't want people to know about you. True or false? Aha, una answer na true. From your phone to your house to your family, everything. Imagine that there is a code somewhere that you are not supposed to misuse it. Before you know it now, everybody they read your WhatsApp message. Voila. When once they just tag your number, WhatsApp, everything, blah. So it's very important. These little mistakes, very, very important. But again, all the time when I'm teaching, I always tell students it is learning the codes is the easy part. Understanding why you are using that code is the hard part. Because a code, a function, in Power BI, you are going to come across some if. but you won't even know that there's another software that uses some if. But when you have mastered why it is used in Excel, it's going to be very easy for you to manipulate the same function in another software. And if you see another software using some if, you, because you understand why it was used, why it was programmed in the first place, it will be easier for you to navigate that new software, right? Are we together? Good. So that's why instead of having this, I'm going to go ahead. This is my range, comma. So my criteria, I'm going to put it in double quotes, which tells, is that greater than? Good. So we're looking at greater than 60, and then I'm going to close it in double quotes, and then bracket, close, and enter, and then you have your answer. Did you see that? Okay, you want to change? All right. If you want to see the formula, just check the formula back. Please, those without laptops, note some of these things down. Write it. Time to enjoy small AC. I'm waiting for this to come up. Please, any question on Summit? Because I'm moving on. Any question on Summit? Yes. Do you still have people online? Teresa? Yes, Teresa is still online. Well, I'm trying to connect. So we are moving to the next one, which is the split function. Okay? The split function. Still waiting for this to come up so that I can go ahead. What? Okay, I'm trying to see. Is there any of you for UI UX? You guys, UI UX. Okay. Um, You know your class is about to start. Yes. You have a laptop, right? You see that TV in the other room. Check if you can connect your laptop for UI/UX. I'm trying to make sure that why this thing is coming up. I don't know why. Okay, so we already treated field, right? You know how to solve for this, huh? You're not there. You can watch the recording. It's very simple. All you need to do equals to sum, right? Then you add this and this bracket close. So the field works instead of typing everything, you just drag down. It's going to give you the solution. You do the same thing there, and it also works with text. Okay, so instead of typing, assuming you want to type something over and over again, you can instead just drag and it's going to populate that. So we treated that. So let's look at the split function. Now, sometimes you'll be working with people who don't know the difference between their people's first name, last name, and their other details. So if you look at this data, this is the kind of data you get from data entry specialists. You just put all of this together and then use a comma to separate it. But you know that if you analyze a data like this, you will not need to work with this. What if you want to create a chart that shows only the company names, right? What if you want to create a chart that wants to show only the first name? So how are you going to do it? So you can't work with this type of data. So what we are going to do is that if you want to use the split function, and how does that work? For us to use the split function, we need to you have to highlight all of this. Highlight this, go to the data menu. And then you see text to columns, right? Please, can you read what's there? No, 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 no. Read with confidence and loud.
For example, you can separate the column of names into separate names, first and last name. You can choose how to split from page to page or split as each comma, period, or whatever.
All right. So, do you remember how many of you can use Microsoft Word? I assume everybody, right? You can type. Do you remember that there are cases where you are typing in Microsoft Word, you put a full stop. Normally, the next thing before you start typing is you have to click on your space bar, right? Before you insert a new sentence. But have you noticed that sometimes you forget to do that and then you just start typing? Microsoft already has the software program to identify those type of errors. So for you, you see a red line, but for us, we see a programming telling you that there is an error, right? The red line will come under the last letter, the full stop, and where you're supposed to put the space. Correct? Yes. Good. So in Microsoft Word, every single character, or rather, every single variable, number, alphabet, space, comma, full stop, all of those things are called characters, and they are very valid, right? They are very valid. Think of them as building blocks. You cannot have a perfectly written or typed sentence if you don't follow those building blocks. When we are speaking, there are certain building blocks that we have as human beings when we are speaking. There is a way someone talks, and you already know that this person is not talking like a human being, right? Hello, Vivian, how are you today? Did you talk right? You already know that's not the cadence of the human speech. So those for general intelligence are trying to build human-likeness to systems, robots. So it's possible 50, 100 years from now, you feed those robots, you know, something. Very possible. Now it's already happening. There are people who need company, right? Go to China, you just import any of those things, and then they talk to you, right? You talk, they respond because they are built to listen. They are built to take care of you. They can take, cook your food, do your coffee, and things like that. Okay? Are we together? Yes. So now in this class, anytime you see a comma going forward, tell yourself that is a what? A character. Anytime you see a full stop, what? Call it in French. It is what? A character. Anytime you see space that you just hit and pass. This time around, when you hit space, calm down. Enjoy the knowledge you have. That is a what? A character. If you mistakenly hit space twice, boom, boom, what happened? Error. Are we together? Yes. You guys started. Okay, I need to tell. Sorry, we have the UI UX guys who are supposed to be online. Right. No, you don't need. All you need to do. All you need to do is to click on the link. It's going to take you there. Click on the link. It's going to just take you to the link. Excuse me. Mr. Precious, how are you doing? Yeah, waiting for your students to show up. I hope they do. Some of them should be coming back from work. Try to tell them in the group that you are already here, please. I'll just be here to. So if you have anyone, try to talk so that I can go and record your meeting. All right, first thing first, we go to text to columns. You click on that. Now, it has given you a preview. You have to leave it checked on delimited. Characters such as what? Commas or tabs. Separate each field. Now it has given you a sample of what you highlighted. So don't be in a hurry to click next. Make sure you confirm that this is what you want to work on. That is why this first page exists. Then we go to click on next. When you click on next, now which of these characters do you see there? Which of these characters do you see there? What? A comma. So you have to uncheck the tab and click on what? Comma. Now you see how it is arranged, right? The moment you click on comma, you see how it now appears. It is also now giving you a preview of what it's going to look like. Now when you are done, you click on next. Now destination is asking you where do you want this new thing, this new arrangement to appear. Are we see here?
Yeah.
Where do you want this new arrangement to appear? You want it to appear in A7, meaning A7? No, because this is already where the data is. We want it to appear from B. Remember, we have first name, and then we have last name, right? And then what we have what? Company name. So it will be first name, last name, company name. We want it to appear that way. So we're going to click on that arrow facing upwards. Click on it. It has highlighted the A7, but we say that's not where we want it to be. We want it to be from here all the way to this place. Okay? Now you can see it's telling you B7 is to D7. Okay? B7 all the way to what? D7. And when you are done, you click drop the arrow, that small arrow, you click, and it's going to take you back to this dialog box. Did you understand up to this point? Good. When you are done, you click on what? Finish. And there you have it. So while your colleague is wasting time doing all the typing, imagine you have up to 1,000 of this type of data. Someone that does not understand Excel, you are typing and typing and typing. Like the ogre that you are, you just use text to columns, and that solves your problem. Soft life. Any question on split? Okay, I should repeat it. All right. Are you ready? It's like that first one was appetizer. Let's do it again, right? Always remember to highlight your data set where you want to start working. Highlight it. Now, if this data is on a table, you don't need to highlight it. Okay, you can either just come over here and call the name of the column, but either way, you make sure you highlight it. And then go to your data menu, right? Click on text to columns. All right. You already see that it's the first one is checked delimited. So delimited tells you that there are characters that contains a comma or there are commas. And then you have to go ahead to click on next. And then, of course, remember when we have semicolon, we have comma, space, and other, we choose comma because we want this data to be arranged separately. Okay? When you do that, you now click on next. It's asking you for destination, which is your next. In other words, we want to find out where do we want to see the new values. The new values are first name, last name. First name will be last name Peter, and company name Contoso Limited. We want it to be arranged in that way. And if you click on this arrow, it's on A7, but we don't want it to be on A7 because that is where our data is. So you click on that arrow, it's highlighted. If we don't want it there, you have to make sure you take it to, you can highlight everything or you can highlight just the first row. Okay? So now we have B7 and D7. When you are done with that, you come back here because you want to return to that dialog box. Click on it, and this dialog box is right back. And when you are done, you click on what? Finish. and then the magic. You have your first name, your last name, your company name. Is it clear?
So we are trying to hold on for instance. Talk about data, the name. How about if they weren't in commerce and we want to include all of them?
Okay.
Commerce. How do you do that?
If they were not in commerce, and you want all of them to be in commerce.
Because you know that you want to do this.
Okay, okay. Yes. Smart question. We are coming right there. Just calm down, right? We are coming there. We are going to do the reverse of what we have done now. Okay? We are going to do, which is your question, isn't it? The reverse of what we have done now. In other words, you want to add everything together. You don't want your first name to be separated from your father because you love your father. You want a big, good family, right? So we are going to do that. But this is very critical because there are some cases where you can't analyze data with this clearly. You can't because this is a story that doesn't make sense. With this story, you don't know which is the first name, you don't know which is the last name, you don't even know anything about this data. You can't even create a graph for it. Now I can create a graph to find out how many people are working in Real Cloud. I can now see, create a graph for it. Right? Let's assume there are amount of sales or something. It makes even much more sense. All right, excuse me, let me see. Hello, Precious. Closer. Bienvenue. Are we good to record now? Okay. Okay. All right. Good. They say women know how to multitask. Yes, those women have not met me. Any question on this?
I want to know where the dialogue space where you put switch comma.
Mm-hmm.
What if the arrangement here would be to put comma and space? Can you put the two? Can you?
Okay, beautiful. Let's do something quickly. I'm going to undo this, right? I'm going to copy this, just this one. And then I'm going to come over here. Paste. Alternate shift, so I then I have this. So let's say for this, instead of a comma, I have dash, right? I have something like this across board. So I'm going to call one of you to come and do this. Who wants to try? Why call? Who wants to try? Okay. So since we have three people, I want to try. Let me put three of this. All right, guys. Give me a sec. Let me attend to this guys over here. Okay, we are back. All right, so if you took your hands up, come and work on this quickly. All right, try. I need you to try. Two of you, right? Okay, there are three of you. Don't worry. Let them try. If they don't get it, okay. What did you do?
The commas. What to have ticked that commas. Comma. That is
Semicolon.
No, mine is space.
The semicolon.
oh, okay, the semicolon.
Okay.
The semicolon. So check.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have space and semicolon. It's outside. It limited and it's because you checked.
No, no, it's correct. It's correct. The error is from me. Yes. Continue. It's correct because the limit are here in the space, so you can't plug it. Opposite, what is correct?
Or check it out and then put your order. Uncheck first. No, uncheck the second one too. Uncheck the space.
The space.
The space. And that one.
Now I know that we are not yet there, in advanced Excel, where you will be combining more than two functions. Advanced Excel, but we are moving, and I really want us to cover to that point. I want to exhaust this page. If you don't want to select, it's going to populate where it is. I hope every one of you understand this now. Don't worry, if you don't have the time to practice, you definitely have that. But we already talked about this the other time, right? Who remembers how to do transpose? Good. So all you need to do is you take all of this and make it this way. Very simple. I hope there was no question on that, right? Transpose is very important because I cannot really get to work with this type of data. It's always good to have the item and then the amount and everything afterwards. And all the methods that you can use to work on that was written there. First one, you highlight the data set, you copy, you place by inserting the transpose button. But if you're using a previous version of Excel, you won't just click on transpose, but you have to press Ctrl Shift Enter and then transpose, right? And then let's look at sort and filter. I love sort and filter. Now, before I explain what sort and filter means, let's look at something. Look at something. I need someone, give me your name, just volunteer, I'll ask you some questions. Who wants to volunteer? Christopher, what's your favorite food? Give me three. Talib soup, okay. Talib soup, pepper soup, rice. On this one we agree. And what? Egg sauce. Egg sauce. All right. Now give me three meals that even if I give you $1,000,000, you will not eat. In other words, you don't like them. But I'm sure you take the money. Just you understand. You don't like them. Three. Beans. Okay. Okay. Hey, come on. This it's trying to be honest. Yeah. Yes. What else? Just three. Oh, is it the only beans? Okay, let's leave it like that. Let's leave it. All right, who else? Who else? Okay. Yes, Isaac. Three meals you like, three meals you don't like. Beans? Rice. What type of rice? Fried rice, Potatoes, okay. Then you don't like spaghetti. Is that how you spell? I don't know. What? P-A.
Yeah.
This? Okay. Thank you. And uh-huh. I need a lady now to volunteer. Uh-huh. Okay, Vivian. What rice? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Toast bread. Mm-hmm. Do you like beans? Okay. Noodles, yeah. Um, oh, no, all right, thank you. Now pay attention, right? I'm going to use this to explain sort and filter. When you go to a party, you go to a wedding or reception, a party, whatever, and you are presented with all of this. Say this is person A, this is person B, this is person C. You know that person A, B, and C will go first for all of this. True, right? Now, sorting, when you are sorting anything, you are leaving every other thing on the table. So person A will just pick his vitamin, pick this one and pick this one and leave beans. Carry your beans, I don't want. The same thing here. The same thing here. But when you are using filter functions, you will pick the one you want and then you will throw away the others. Hmm? Do you understand the difference? Sorting, you pick the things you love, the things you want, and the rest is still on the table. If you carry on those, you will come sit at least with you pass. That is what sorting does. Filter, as you are picking, you are throwing away the others and no ones. That is not me. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's put some numbers into this. Let's come over here. I want to put this back in um, all right, this is what I wanted. Good. I need to run this. Right. So we want to sort this data. I'm going to highlight all. Remember, there's a difference between this highlight all I'm doing and when you click outside and highlight all. You already know the difference, right? Good. Highlight all works only on this. That means you need to click on the data set before you highlight. Then the other one you click outside and highlight everything. Now you go to your insert. Is it insert? Not insert. Good. Data. Yeah. Good. You click. So sort is basically A to Z and Z to A. From top to bottom, bottom to top. Does that remind you of somebody? So we are going to click on sort. Now when you click on sort, It's going to ask you, what do you want to sort it by? For instance, remember the things that you said you love. You can choose to say, I want to sort by food. Let's say this is the food category. I want to sort by food, and then you can now choose the food you want. So this is asking you, let's open that and see what it says. So we have sort by departments, category. Let's come down so you see. So basically, it lists out all the column names for you, asking you where do you want to sort it exactly. You want to sort by October, you want to sort by November, by December, or by category or department. And then you want to sort by cell color. Remember, there's only one cell color here, which is basically yellow. We don't want to sort by the cell color. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And then, what do you want? How do you want the order to be like? Is it from top to bottom or from bottom to top? By the way, I have mixed this up. Sort is the other way of filter. Sort, let me show you. Let me say I want to sort by department, right? And I want to say I want to sort by cell values. Okay? And then I want to sort by, I want it to appear from A to Z. So from A to Z, mean this bakery, right, is going to come to the top. And then I click on OK. You see the difference? So this is what sorting does. Pardon the explanation. Sorting keeps everything. Filter removes everything, like the name implies. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Good. Now, let's say I want to sort by the color. I want to sort by color. I come over here. Let's say I don't like sandwiches. I don't like the category called sandwiches. And I want to highlight everything that sandwich bread. And Control A, click on the data menu, click on sort. Now I want to sort by what? Sandwich falls under which column? I want to sort by the category. I want to sort by not cell values this time around. It's going to be what? Cell color. And then I want to click on this, and then I'm going to choose the red. And then I'm going to click on OK. It goes to the top. So if you don't want sandwiches, or you want to make a presentation to a group of people, I want them to pay attention to a particular value, or a particular cell, and you want to bring somebody from the bottom to the top, you can use sort. Very easy, right? Now let's look at filter. Control A. Now you know what filter is. There's a funnel. You want to filter something. Now your bitter leaf soup, now the filter am. You want to filter it so that it becomes less bitter. So that's the icon for filter. Now once you click on the filter button, you are going to see something is going to appear on our data set. Please pay attention. Tell me what you notice. You're going to click on it. What do you notice? No? What do you notice? Come and show me. Show me. Show me what you notice. Exactly, the drop down arrows, right? Now for filter, let's say I want to filter okay, we've looked at department and category. Let's look at December, right? Let's say I come to December, open it up, then I have all the numbers. And then I want to pay attention to maybe three of those numbers, the largest three, right? So I'm going to unselect first, and I'm going to choose only 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to click on OK. You see what filter does? Every other thing has disappeared except the ones I choose. Disappear doesn't mean it don't come out. It's not been erased. It means it is out of sight. And then pay attention anytime you are given a data set. This can even come as a data analyst. This can even come under your interviews. They can send you a data set like this and tell you to analyze. They will talk about so many other values. And if you were taught by me, you will not need to send an email. Oga, you mentioned other values. They are not here on that category and department. Where can I get them? If you are smart, it is part of the interview. The person wants you to find out how you can make other values to appear. And the best way for you to look at the top. There is no filter here. There's no filter here. There's no filter here. There's no filter here. But there is a filter here. All you need to do is click on it. Right? And then bring back every other thing. And then you'll be proud of yourself. You can now check that and click on OK. You'll be like, oh, wow. God bless Mr. David. And at this, I will take command for this work. Right? If you want to look at just the meat department, let's assume you want to improve the outcome of that department. You don't want to, if you are making a presentation to stakeholders, maybe you are meeting the people who provide your company with meat. They are not interested in bakery and produce. They are interested in only the meat. There's no need for you to show them how much that your company is selling. This is very important, especially if you are making a presentation. You are meeting with a certain group of companies, the ones that are giving your guys meat, and then you want to tell them that, okay, we have not been making sales from our data. All you need to do is to show them just their department meat. You have no business projecting every single detail from your company to those that are not supposed to have access to the data. If tomorrow now they will kidnap you, it's because of giving you filter. I'm not saying if they kidnap you today because you use filter. I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes you can cause a lot of strains within companies, within departments, when you expose them to certain levels of information they are not supposed to be aware of. In fact, I love Power BI for that one. Power BI, if you are actually analyzing a data for a particular company in, let's say, Lagos, and you want them, like the administrators or the managers, to have access to only what's going on in their region, you can do that. Use certain administrative tools. But you don't need to go and be telling someone in Lagos, send them the login details of analysis of the company in Abuja. You know, people could be funny, they could sabotage efforts. But that's a really senior data analyst and those who have been doing the job for a while, including myself, we do that a lot of time. So let's try this out. Or rather, let me let you guys do it. So we want to see only meat. Who want to try? Only meat. Only meat. Okay. Only meat. Those of you that have not come up here to show us who you be. We should report on us to federal government. Okay, let me check my point. Right. All right, super. Formula. Thank you. You see, if you are presenting this type of data, you can choose to create a chart. Show them. right? This is how much we're able to make. You guys will sell 75, but we make 75. It's not good for business. And when they are done, they go to call in the next department. You remove this one, you show them. That is what it means. So now this is your assessment, right? This is your assignment. Quickly take a picture and put it in the group. I want you to analyze this data. You want to sack 2 or 3 of them. Those ones that are wasting our money. Tell us who to keep and who to let go. The data is staring at you right there. Use sort and filter and give us the response quickly. Right? So this is it. Sort by. So we have these employees. We were going to a particular event. All of them we had a meeting with them in the office. We told them our budget. We say, abeg o, this hotel we are going, don't go to presidential suite. Use the one that we can pay. But because some employees, they know the year word. They have gone to enter where Tinubu used to sleep. And they have sent us a bill for the month. We want to find out who that person was. Yam and egg, where you supposed chop for $20. And everybody know that is how much we pay. You go and sit down and order full course meal. So we want to let some of them go so that we can cut costs. Analyze the data and tell us what you find out. Is it clear? Who understood the question? Yes. So don't use your eye to answer. Use the data so that you not fall into trouble. So most of the time, to avoid issues within the workspace, to avoid people having issues with the data department, we always request for employee ID. Huh? We always request for employee ID, not employee name. In case I dey follow you talk for office. And then employee ID is like your password, right? Not everybody should know it. Because that employee ID is what you use to log in into your laptop, your office laptop, log in, if we have any financial complaints, we can call your ID, fraud and whatever. So sometimes even your husband, your wife should not know your employee ID. That is if you don't trust them. But if you don't trust them, why you marry them? Anyway, so we don't work with names. So that you won't say, na me analyze your data, now they don't sack you. I know sabi your ID. Normally you would see CWA dash something. Imagine you have 20,000 employees in a whole company. You don't expect me to memorize all of them. My job is to analyze the data. If I send the reports to the manager, they sack you, they don't sack you. Collect my money, I do job well done. So again, this also is very good for hiring managers so that you will not say you don't like Rosemary. You saw Rosemary. Rosemary is supposed to be promoted because you have issues with her. The data is telling you that this person is due for promotion. But because you saw Rosemary, the data says Rosemary is due for promotion. I say no. As far as Nami the runner. Right? That is why Rosemary is not expected to even share her employee's ID with the HR or whoever. It is between you, your manager, and the CEO. The data analyst most times doesn't even know what's up. Do you understand why this is important? I'm just saying this. So we move on to the next thing, tables. I love tables because with tables, it makes life easier. Okay, question, okay.
I know in filter, the command for filter, shift control, now in sort, is it command and sort?
I don't know. We can research on that together. Honest, I've not used that control before. Let me try shift and what? Shift control L. Okay, yeah, that works. Nice. So go to ChatGPT and ask if there's a command for sort and filter. I've not used it before.
So I noticed that the dollar sign has a left.
Yeah, because it's standard accounting. If it's not, if you want to write it the way you write money when you want to buy paper, very simple. All you need to do is just, come over here. Go to your home menu. I think we treated this. So you can see accounting, the accounting format, which is standard if you are working with a lot of values. But if you are sending this to somebody where owe you money, you can use currency. You see there's a difference. But I don't like currency because it's not like, um, I want to see my money appearing as my money. No, there's a way this sends a message to you. The other one is like you don't even take it serious. This one gives you this money is a very serious money. So keep that dollar one side. No, we see saying a dollar. Don't bring it. So that's just it, right? I prefer accounting. It's the same thing here. You can either take the naira closer. There's a serious atmosphere. This gives your values. So let's look at putting this in a table. Normally, if you want to solve for this, all you need to do is come over here and do your sum. So you take certain steps. Step one, you come over here, you click. Step two, you hit enter before you have your sum. You are adding everything, isn't it? Now, I don't like using this type of values. You can put everything in a table format. It makes your life easier and sweeter and softer. And how do you put things in a table? Control A, Control T, right? So it's going to ask you, does your table have headers? You have to really check if it has headers. And what are headers? Department, category, this. Those are our headers. Now let me uncheck it and see it doesn't have headers so that you see what it's going to do for you. You leave it, it's going to come up with its own header. But that is looking too noisy. So we have to do Control T, leave it checked, and then you click on OK. Now, just like filter, tables also have a drop down arrow. Now, remember the other one, when I was calculating for the total sum, I had to take like 2 or 3 steps to be able to get it, right? But this one, I can come over here. When once I make a single step, click on this, it gives me my sum, JJJ. And not only did it give me my sum, it has also opened up an arrow to tell me in case you want to check other things, you can do that. And I can go ahead and say, you know what, I want to see the minimum of those values. The minimum is 10,000, right? I want to see the maximum. The maximum is what? 90. I want to see the average. The average is 53. I want to see what? Standard deviation, 33. So for those of you that say you hate mathematics, welcome to Excel. This makes you to even understand and appreciate, spend less time. You know how to solve standard deviation. You see, remember? If you ask me, I will pass it to, but I'll fail it properly as well. Yeah, I don't have time for all those. Yeah. So of course that is why it's called tech, because basically helps you do certain things even faster. You can also run the same thing over here. You get your sum. So you see why tables are very important. They make your calculations and all of those things easier. Yes. After creating a table. All right. Now, if you want to remove everything from the table, you Control A, right click, look for table, and click on Convert to Range. All right. It's going to ask you this. You say yes, and everything is back to normal. It's no longer on a table. So I'm going to start again so that you can follow. You are live now. All right. So I come up, Control A, Control T, right? And then you click on OK. Now you have a table. Is it clear? Good. Now, the other beautiful thing about a table is that I can give it a name. And even if I leave this particular workbook, I can always refer to that table in a brand new workbook. I'm going to show you how. Now, if I click outside, pay attention. Normally, this is where my data is supposed to, my data tab is supposed to end, data mining, right? But if I click outside, you can see the others have disappeared. The moment you click inside this table we created, you now have what? Analyze and table design. So you can choose to now put all the colors you want on your table. You can choose any of these, right? Let's say you can choose any of these colors, I think. Any of them can work. What? Okay, let me do something. I want to be sure why it's not giving me what I want. Can you guys try this? Try this on your laptop. Let's see if the tables are changing the colors. Normally it's supposed to. I don't know why mine.
Have you tried clearing the range?
Clearing what?
The range.
Yeah, I think I did that, right? Clear format. I'm gonna clear all. Okay. Let me try it one last time. Okay, it worked now. Yeah, so you can choose any of these colors. Have you guys seen that? So I think why it didn't work before, I had manipulated the table before using the function. So it was telling me I can't build a table on a table. I can choose any of this. It's pretty simple how this works really. Now, how do you name a table? When you go to table design, come over to table name. So what should we call this table? Um, department, just going to type department table, depart table. No need to put space, just together and then you hit enter. Now let me show you. I want to open a brand new page, a brand new workbook or sheet. Nothing is here at all. Now remember we treated sum if. Okay. I'm going to now say equals to sum if bracket open. My range is supposed to be the entire table, right? So I'm now going to type that department table. Can you see it? In a brand new page. Then I put my comma. Now, because I don't know what the other columns of the table look like, this is a new page entirely. If I want to see them, I'm going to put a square bracket. And then you now see all the column titles. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
If you want to call in any of those column titles, now this is what we do when we have thousands of rows of data. You don't have to scroll down before you start working on anything. Just put your entire data sheet in a data set in a table, go to the next sheet, and then start, cleaning and doing whatever you want to do. I don't need to go back to check, okay, which column, which column. I just call in with my square bracket, I just call in this, then we start working. So let's say I want to do my everything that is okay, I want to call in the December column, all right? Close the bracket, put my comma, and then in that December column, I want to say everything that is greater than, let's say 20. Everything that is greater than 20. I want you to add everything that is greater than 20. Then I'm going to put this. Then I hit this. Can you see that? You see 60,000. I didn't need to go to that table to go and check the December column. I can call it out from anywhere. So, I want to say something funny. Putting your data set in a table is like having control over its move button, right? Valentine will come, so understand this gist. I don't need to see what that table looks like. But once I give it a name, I can call it anywhere. Yes.
I will once I open the actual workbook, then this is sheet actually in the workbook.
Yes.
I need to do that. But if you have, because this is workbook, the page, and the opening a new workbook, do that.
Now I can do that in something called VBA and macros. That is like the coding aspect of my Excel. But as long as, see, everything on this workbook is like a code at the background. Every single page here matters. If I open a table in this particular sheet, this sum sheet, and I name that table, and I come over here to transpose and call that table, it's going to reference it. Now, if I close this workbook, save everything, close it, and open it back, every other thing is going to run, including the name of the code. But if I close this workbook and open a brand new workbook, I can't call the name of the table in a brand new workbook without referring to this one. Do you understand me? But I can do that in VBA and macros. I think it's under the developer tab. But I only need to call in the name of my table, and it's going to look for the Excel sheet that that table or sheet contains, and it's going to bring it back to me. All right, that's all for table. We're moving to drop downs. We're almost done. Recap. It will. Which one do you want me to recap? Table title. Okay. Let me check. The online people, are they still here? Teresa, I see here. Okay. Teresa, thank you for being here. We'll give you an award. But I hope what?
I said thank you to Francis for the question.
Okay. Now, who can tell us how to name a table? How to name a table? No, let someone else try. Someone else. How to name a table? Those of you that have been keeping your mouth, open it now. Make air just enter small. How can we name a table? Oh yeah, come and show us. Nataya, this I did not bring Zobo today. Okay, say it. Let me hear. Table design. Table name. Okay. It's that simple. Ofio, are you going? Okay. Did you get the explanation? So let's move on to drop down. I need to finish this sheet today because um, before I explain this drop down, this is going to be your assignment, okay? So just take note of it. Uh, Give me a list of brands, popular brands for a particular product. What? Coca-Cola, okay. So we have Coca-Cola there. List the brand. What? Pepsi. Seaway. Seaway. What Seaway? Huh? Okay. Okay. Let me think. Nestle is what?
We do water
Wait. Let me try to. I want to give some simple thing though. Okay, yeah, let's use phones. That's good. Phone type. So we have iPhones, right? iPhones, right? Samsung, Techno, and Infinix. Okay, so let's do cars. What? Corolla. Mention the one you feel bad. Huh? Um, Lamborghini. What else? Lexus. Okay. Nissan. If you buy Ferrari, now you sit down here. Instead of you to invite me somewhere. Anyway, for Nigerians, I understand. For us, really, I'm Nigerian too. I understand that we we pay cash for literally everything, right? Thinking about it, I remember when I got a car in Texas. I never imagined that it was possible to get something far less than I started respecting a lot of Nigerians. You want to get a house, you pay cash, You want to what if you want to get a phone, you pay cash, right? The iPhone I got for someone, they even asked me, do you want to pay by installments? Do you want to pay? And the first installment was like maybe $20, $35. So it wasn't, you could pay. You see young people driving whatever they like, getting iPhones. So, if you use iPhone, carry full person, because everybody gets. Then cars is not like, it's like a necessity. You necessarily have to. So that's what it does to your psyche, right? You have to now, within yourself, ask yourself questions like, what is it that I need to, if you are the type that you always want to show people what you are or what you have, and then you go to a place, everybody has what you have. So you need, yeah, you need to like look into yourself and find out what is it that I need to. Right? For me, I had a list of people that always enjoyed my company because one way or the other, they want to know about Nigeria. They asking me for one African country I've never visited. They want to know everything. So it was always fun. But if you get Lamborghini, I respect you. I tell you. Have you ever opened a form to register something and you were told to select your gender, male, female? Yeah. Those things are called drop downs. Have you ever opened and you were asked to select your country? Those things are all drop down. Do you know you can do that thing on Excel? Do you know you can do that thing on Microsoft Excel? Now, why I love it in Microsoft Excel is because when you validate your data, which is what it's called, you automatically lock that data. Nobody can edit it, right? Especially if you are working within a team. If you send budgets to me and you don't trust that I can handle that budget properly without removing zero, I'm going to lock the values of that budget so that you can't change the budget. I will also give you access to the data that was validated that made that budget to be locked. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
But you know, say this one dey work for some kind places wey corruption dey flow. Right? Everybody go enter comot anyhow. But if we are actually following the right way of using technology to protect resources, you definitely see that this is one of the ways to go. So normally we are supposed to, okay, I want to add something, let's say food, like chicken, okay, and beef, right? And what else? Pork. So normally, if you look at this data, we are going to call these products, right? And then we are going to call this category or maybe departments. You know that iPhones fall into which category?
iOS.
No. Let's just use phones, right? They fall into which category? Phone, right? Lamborghini, Corolla, and Co. fall under which category? Cars. And then chicken, beef, and meat fall under which category? Meat. Una dey think am. So normally, this is how it's supposed to be. I want it to be in such a way that anytime you see anything from the phone category, you just put here. Normally, you're supposed to put phones, right? You come over here, you're supposed to put cars, right? And over here, you're supposed to put meat. So imagine you have over 100 of this type of data, and you are asked to validate them. You are asked to match them with their right categories to enable those who you are going to be working with to see exactly what this is saying. So instead of typing this over and over again and making mistakes in the process, you are going to do what's called data validation. And how does that work really? You go to click on data, look for data validation, which is this one. Can you read what's there, please?
Look for a list of rows indicating the type of data that can be entered into service. For example, you can provide a list of values like 1, 2, and 3, or only allow numbers greater than 1,000 as value entry.
Exactly. So if you have your budget and your budget is 20,000, you are going to validate your data in such a way that nobody inserts anything that is above 20,000. That is what it means. You mean that you can provide a list of the values, a list of your budget. In other words, anything that is above what you have provided, you will never be able to insert it into that data. It also works in such a way that the data shows that so person is supposed to be promoted in an office, right? Normally, your customer ID or your client ID or employee ID supposed to validate that. But assuming you have some managers that are very dubious, they'll find out who owns the ID and then they discover, oh, maybe my person. They will now go and change the data and now take it to someone that you are far better than. For them to do that means that the person who was analyzing the data did not validate that data. He didn't say that customer ID 121-this has been accrued a certain type of data. And you know that if you are looking at top 10, your name will definitely come out because your customer ID is maybe either any of the top 10 due for promotion. So if you go there and then you change the person's name, it's not going to be possible because that thing you are trying to change to another number was not validated. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now in Python programming, it's even more interesting. The password you insert into your phone has been validated. The moment you insert a password that does not match the code that presents you, password login or signing, you can't have access to that device. The same with your ATM. You put in your ATM, the machine has been programmed to follow certain instructions. You can only insert your PIN 4 times. Abi? Only 4 times. If you press once, you press 5 times, it will either make noise or tell you error or something. It means that it's been validated to only accept 4 numbers. Some passwords, have you ever tried to insert? They will tell you it's okay, but try to insert a character, maybe like a comma, maybe like something or whatever. They will even give you a list. Choose, insert something. That is how some of this data validated stuff works. So let's try and see how this one works. So it's asking us for what are we going to allow? This time we're going to allow a list. And then what is our source? Now, our source is what? Our source is our category. So we're going to type what? Phones, cars, and then meat. And then we're going to hit enter. Now, if you open this, can you see there is an arrow there now? If you open the arrow, you now see phones, cars, and meat. Now, chicken falls under what? You now choose meat. Now, let's assume that you are disagreeing with this data that have already been validated. You say chicken. No, it's not meat. You want to type something else, right? You now remove meat. And then just give me a funny thing to insert there.
Drink.
Drink. Let's assume in your village you drink chicken. And then you see chicken, you put drink. So you now type drink and then you want to click outside. Do you see what it's telling you? You know, if you run out, it's not possible, right? Can't have access to it. This value does not match the restrictions defined in this cell. So those of you that When you open that form, you see male, female, and that's it. You say you be man, you say no, I no be man. You be woman, no, I no be woman. What do you be? You, you want to go and type what you are inside there. Eh? When once you type it, maybe you say I am whatever, and then you click outside, it's going to tell you error, right? If you have ever tried to register for anything and it's been prepared by Americans, prepare to read the list of gender. And one time I was pissed off. Man, where I go need scroll down to go see mail. It was really. That's why I always tell my friends, if you are trying to apply for anything Western and you are waiting for deadline, some things that will just take a few seconds and male, female, simple. But you have to scroll down. You have to see, you see trans, you see cisgender, you see this one, you see this one, you see. You are scrolling down, then if you go pick with you know be just to move on to the next page. Right? So that's why data validation is very important. But again, I made a mistake here. I was supposed to make sure I highlight the entire cell so that it's going to be only this cell. So I'm going to do that again. Highlight where you want your data to be validated. Go to data validation. Now we already typed all of that, then click on OK. Now, anytime you click on any of the cells that you highlighted, you can see those arrows will come out, right? And there would always be phones. So over here, you have what? Phones. Over here, you have car. But now, remember when I told you, what if there is a mistake? What if there's a mistake? What if in future is no longer meat, it's something else? Let's call it chop chop. Hmm? Instead of meat, we have chop chop. Now let's go back and check the data that was validated. You see that we still have our meat instead of that chop chop. So to be on the safer side, when you are validating your data, make sure you put it in a table. And always make sure, just like sum, remember we were trying to solve for sum, we use cells instead of typing out the numbers. You know why that is, right? Because when we type out the numbers, what if we want to correct a mistake? You have to go back, remove the numbers, and then insert the new numbers. But if you are using a cell, the moment you automatically correct the number, it also affects the solution. You were here when I talked about that, right? So for this, instead of typing out all of this, I'm going to clean this. Then I'm going to come here. So I want to data validate this. Click on data validation. Then instead of typing out phones, cars, and meat, I'm going to click on my source. You see, I'm going to delete everything there and come over here and remove, highlight all of this. Now I no longer have them typed. I have the cell names. What that means is that anything that is inside that cell is going to be the new data that is validated. Let's see how that looks like. So I'm going to click on this part. Now I have the cell names, and then I'm going to click on OK. Now you see it's going to work, right? So I have my data validated. I have chop chop, right? Now let's assume we want to go back, remove the chop chop, and then put what? Meat. Then I click outside, come over here, open the drop down. Now you see meat. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Any question on drop down? This is your assignment. This is it. I need you. We have inside the drop down the data below. We have produce, we have meat and bakery as category. Look at your food and departments, and then let me minimize it so you can see the entire thing. Let us know which of them falls. Data validates all of this. with those three. Okay? I think, yes, we should run up in 5 minutes. Yes, question. Mm.
They say it's understood. But inside, so as I will suggest you in a special way, this is the first step, this is the second step, until when we get to that.
Should I type those steps out? Okay. For data validation, I'm going to type them out. Right? Data validation. So method. The first method here is highlights. So you say you want to highlight the cells you want to validate. All right. That's the first one. Then the second method, or the second step rather, after you highlight, you go to the data menu or data tab, and after that you click on data validation. After that, now you have to look for the icon. This is the icon for data validation. Have you seen it? Right? Under there is a red, almost like a stop sign, right? Below, and there's a tick. Then, okay, the first one, highlight the cells you want to validate. Second, go to data menu. Third, click on data validation. Click on data validation. And then the next one is choose list. Choose list under value. Choose list under value. Yes. Then when you choose list under value, make sure you insert the your source data. Example, I'm going to write it. Example, cars, books, meat, etc. All right, so I think I'm going to stop yet, but I'm hoping the light will come out so that you guys can copy it, so that your hair will not blow from too much information. Abi, continue on Saturday. Should I read it out again? First method, highlight. I'm sorry, let me check the guys that are online. Okay, first method, highlight the cells you want to validate. Go to the data menu as a second. Number one, highlight the cells you want to validate. Go to the data menu. Number three, click on data validation. Number four, choose list under value. Number five, insert the source data. Then number 6, hit enter. Yes. Any question? How many assignments have I given today? Those that have submitted your assignments, the one I gave the last time, yes, I've taken note of all of you. Let me read out your names so that you know I've gotten them. Who is Brent? Brent Young, okay. Ibanga Jack. Only 2 people. Submit to dialtechis@gmail.com. Any question? Now, how many of you have? All right. If there are no questions, I'm going to stop the recording so that we can continue talking now. Teresa, thank you so much for showing up today. It's unfortunate, like I stopped sharing my screen on the. Okay. Teresa,
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir.
did you see my screen at all?
Yes, I did. Also,
Huh?
yes, I did. I saw it also.
Okay. So let me project that again so you can write it and we'll be done. So please, I am inviting all of you to attend the soft skills session on Friday. It's going to be online. Are we together, please? The soft skill training is going to be online. And I'm happy that Mr. Chibuzo is going to be there. He's actually in Detroit as we speak. You guys met Mr. Chibuzo. So he just met some of his fellows from, I think, a couple of countries. He now the time he has fixed is a very sacrificial time for him. When we spoke this morning, his time was 5:30 a.m. Right when we had to speak. So the next time is going to be free tomorrow. It's going to be 12 p.m. our time. So the session is going to be online. But that means he has to be awake before 5 a.m. His time is going to be awake by 6. And in West African time, that is 12 p.m. It's not going to be funny that he's up and awake early to have the session with you and you are not there to show up. So we're going to have some more interviews today. Ask you how the class was. If you had interviews previously and you don't have this book, please come and get it because I think you'll be using this to teach on Friday as well. So make sure wherever you are, you have access to the book. And Christopher, yes, you meet Christopher and write their names, get a copy. If you've not had the interview, you are a fellow, please, you can wait behind and have that interview. We'll be happy to have you and give you a copy of the book. So far, thank you. I need to stop the recording. I'm trying to project this so all of you copied that thing.